Alright everybody, check this out. SC Sport high performance hydrocoil. We're going to put this on a Volvo Penta SX. Looks very similar to a OMC Cobra. This is 1994 on this specific model. So as I mentioned, yeah, we're gonna put this hydrocoil on and see if we get any kind of performance gains on it. As advertised, it'll mention on the side, you know, you're supposed to get better planing, cavitation, reliefs, and then porpoising, and basically it helps with when you're in shallow waters as well. So yeah, you'll see I got the 4 prop on this one if you caught my prior video on that one. Let's start by opening this here. So I got this off of Amazon. Alright, what do we got here? Made in America. If you flip it around there, it's got yeah, pretty sturdy. Alright, let's look into this a little bit further. So we got a little note in here, and it's basically like a little warning. It talks about how this hydrocoil or hydrofoil may act different depending on what type of boat it's put on. It has a little note for OMC users. We'll go over that here, and mainly because of right here what that note talks about. Yeah, so you'll notice on this Volvo Penta, it doesn't actually have a trim tab on it. Let's go look at the OMC Cobra version of this, and I'll show you what the trim tab looks like on that model. I happen to have one here. Okay, so here's your trim tab. So in this little card here, I'll zoom in real quick. You can hit pause and read it at your leisure. But yeah, this is trim tab. They're basically warning you to be careful when you drill this, because you'll see the holes are really close to the trim tab. The hydrofoil that's on this one is a lot. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a little different. Let's go back to the Volvo Penta. Okay, so here's the SCI, and here is the other hydrofoil that is on the OMC Cobra. You can see they're both different. I'm assuming they have similar performance characteristics. I can't tell you about the SCI Sport. I do know with this one I got from Academy, they still sell it. You'll see if you go check out their website or go over to their store. It looks identical to this one. It's just I painted this one silver. But let's take a look at the bolt holes here. Yeah, actually, let's do it this way. Yeah, I can see them through that one. I imagine they're probably going to be the same. Let's go take this SCI or the SC Sport and bring it over to the OMC Cobra and see how it fits up. Okay. So, yeah, as I suspected, you may not be able to see it very well, but yeah, it's the same. Okay, so yeah, I was debating on going with this same model again, this one down here that I have on my OMC Cobra, but decided to try out this one to see if we get any difference. Probably end up doing some water testing with both since they have the same bolt pattern. Let's look into this a little bit further, get this one out of the way. Alright, you flip it around here, it actually has a little cutout template, and we'll pull that off so we can use that. And then we have our, looks like stainless steel bolts here. Okay, so I took the little guide out and folded it as such. One little note here, you know, you can tell there's good, pretty decent quality control here. You can actually see someone signed off on these bolts. So one thing good about getting something manufactured in the US, I guess that's something they look forward to for customers, you know, good quality. So yeah, so let's go over a few things here. I went ahead and put this template already on my OMC Cobra just to see how it lines up, and on the back I got lined up on the 5 mark and on the 11. And what's neat about this is it kind of helps. Let's take this to the top and I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, so basically helps lining this thing up, because if you do like 14, for example, on this side, what is it over here? Is it 14 on this side as well? And then you can do the same thing for the front to make sure this thing is dialed in perfectly, versus having to use a you know, a ruler and kind of guessing on it. But you can see there is a good amount of play here. What I'm using for the center line is this little bolt hole here, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the proper measurement for both sides here. So I'll go ahead and do that first, and then I'll show you what I got. Okay, so you can kind of see how I drew my circles on each one of those, right? So on this one I ended up with 14 on that side, and then roughly about 12.5, just a tad over 12 on the forward sides. So another thing I did to just double check everything is I took a micrometer and just measured it from side to side on each one of these, and the paper diagram is actually pretty good. So you always want to do that. You know, check once. Well, what is it? Check your measurements twice. Drill once. So yeah, and then you can just take that and compare. Yeah, so there you go. Let's move to the next part here. Okay, and if you're on an OMC Cobra, let's line up the holes. This one's already pre-drilled when I got it, so I'll see if I can measure it for you viewers out there. Alright, so the back holes look like 10 and 5. And let's look at the front here. See if we can keep 10 and 5 on. Alright. And let's very carefully line up the front. The holes on this one, you can tell the people who did it didn't take their time. Or maybe they didn't have a fancy little diagram like this one. But it looks to be about, double check with yours, but it looks like about 13.5 for OMC Cobra. Alright, let's switch back over to the Penta here. Okay, so we've double checked everything. Measurements look good on both sides. Not worried about that. Alright, now for the fun parts. So I did double check. We are looking at a 1/4 inch bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a pilot hole. Start with an 1/8, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, we'll kick off with an 1/8. All right, so let's do the rear holes first, and then we'll move on to the forwards. Okay, I got the pilot holes drilled first here. One thing I like about tilting the drive up like this is all those metal flakes kind of go flying towards the ground. So I got the 1/8 inch. I'm going to move up to 1/4 inch now and drill those out. Okay, so I got the 1/4 inch holes drilled through. I'm going to go ahead and test fit the hydrofoil now, just with the bolt holes in the back, just to make sure everything lined up properly. All right, success so far. I'm just going to do some quick measurements on the forward ones, make sure those holes are still good, and then I'll get out my 1/8 inch and finish drilling those. See how it goes here. Okay, so we got the forward holes drilled out the 1/4 inch now. Let's go ahead and fit this thing up, see how it looks. Okay, pretty easy, right? 4 bolts. Mine came with these washers. They say use the thicker ones in the back and the thinner ones in the front. Mine, the bolts are in. I definitely don't have that much meat, and I tried to visualize in there a little bit to see if there was a possibility that it could fit, and that's a big negative. So next up, let's do the washer and then these nylon lockers here and start getting everything tightened up. All right, I got all 4 bolts. Let me show you what my favorite part, and this goes back to some of this made in the US engineering stuff that I just absolutely love. Check this out. When you tighten these things up, the bolts are flush. Not really flush. I mean, it's enough for the nylon to grab it, but you're not there with a hacksaw trying to cut the underneath excess off. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Almost as much as I love this 4-blade prop. Hopefully, check this video out if you haven't seen it. Awesome. Love the product. Took it out yesterday, by the way, and I'm going to do a review on that one along with this one at the same time, so my viewers can kind of see what difference having the SC Sport 300 hydrofoil does for you, as well as adding that that 4th blade there. But yeah, absolutely love this. Super easy to install. Very similar installation with the OMC Cobra, and then obviously with the Volvo Penta SX, very similar. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this in the water. I'll test it out, look for that review video on both of these items. And if you have any questions, as always, jump in that comments field. Let me know what you think about the video. Have a good one. Happy boating.